out to address some things as the supervisor. There will be no comments, there will be anything. It will be me addressing you guys and telling you what's going on. Was not able to get certain services, whether it was gift cards for a big bingo Monday. The staff was not able to even buy ice cream.
We need to put some safeguards in place to regulate what's spent on the credit card.
I do not want a credit card. I do not deal with money.
Give the leader, bring our peace to the forefront. So not just us, but the residents and everybody else in America know how the money is being spent.
Oh gosh, can you believe it? Tiffany Henyard has gone from throwing lavish parties to begging for ice cream money. Is this the final nail in the coffin for her questionable reign? The residents of Dalton have had enough of her wild spending, and now they're fighting back, freezing her illegal expenditures and exposing the truth faster than you can say budget crisis. But hold on to your wigs, because there's way more to this story than Henyard is letting on. She's out here blaming a halt in income for the city's suffering, even crying about canceled bingo games and ice cream socials for seniors. But don't be fooled, besties. The real reason Dalton's funds have been frozen is far more sinister than a lack of sprinkles on Grandma's sundae.
The day vendors are not being paid. Board approved it. The vendors are not being paid.
Under Henyard's leadership, Dalton has been plunged into financial disarray faster than you can say bankruptcy. We're talking essential services being neglected, while Henyard herself is living it up like she's on an episode of Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. But the residents? Oh, they've had enough, and they're not playing around anymore.
Was not able to get certain services, whether it was gift cards for a big bingo Monday. The staff was not able to even buy ice cream.
Now, Henyard wants you to believe that this financial freeze is causing all sorts of problems, but in reality, it's her own mismanagement and spending habits that have led to this mess. The Illinois comptroller recently froze payments to Dalton due to past due audits, which Henyard has failed to address. This isn't just about ice cream for seniors, y'all. It's about the survival of the city itself.
To put some safeguards in place to regulate what's spent on the credit card.
I do not want a credit card. I do not deal with money.
While Henyard is busy trying to deflect blame faster than a politician during a scandal, the residents of Dalton are suffering. We're talking firefighters left without vital funds for their insurance and retirement benefits, the town's infrastructure crumbling like a stale cookie, and basic services being cut. Yet somehow, Henyard found the funds for a $500,000 house renovation and luxurious getaways. This is what happens when leadership goes unchecked, besties. Let's take a closer look at how Henyard has been spending Dalton's money. From five-star hotels to secret vacations, Henyard has spared no expense when it comes to her own comfort. One of the most shocking examples is the $500,000 renovation of her home. That's right, y'all, $500,000. That's enough to buy a whole house in some places, and she's just using it for a renovation. But it doesn't stop there. For months, her administration has been accused of refusing to release spending records. That's a blatant violation of state transparency laws, besties. Even when the Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul's office ordered the village to turn over these documents, Henyard and her allies resisted. Talk about raising red flags. But the truth has a way of coming out, doesn't it? WGN, a prominent news station, took matters into their own hands and sued in Cook County Circuit Court to get those records released. A judge finally ordered Dalton to hand over dozens of pages of documents, including credit card statements that paint a damning picture. Between July and November 2023 alone, Henyard and her administration racked up tens of thousands of dollars in expenses. We're talking first-class flights, high-end hotels, luxury dining, and even personal shopping sprees. The most shocking of these expenditures include a 5-day trip to Austin, Texas in July 2023, where Henyard, her top aide Keith Freeman, and 3 township officials spent over $20,000 of taxpayer money. Let me break down some of these outrageous receipts for you. $1,699 at the Fairmont Austin, a high-end hotel. $389 at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. $53 on what's labeled as sports riding apparel. Over $247.78 spent at retailers like Walmart and Target. $1,425 at Amazon. $59 on Uber Eats and local restaurants. $3,491 for Henyard's personal photographer. Y'all, this level of spending has outraged the citizens of Dalton, and rightfully so. As a public servant, Henyard's primary responsibility is to serve the community, not indulge in luxuries at their expense. But what makes this situation even more infuriating is the apparent attempt to cover it all up. And when she's not getting money directly from the township accounts, she's getting it from charity. That's right, besties, charity.
Went on the national platform and you said you didn't know anything about a foundation. But you forget that I was in certain rooms when certain things happened. And the reason I don't support you is because you were not honest about that foundation. I was in the room when it started.
Charity work is supposed to be about giving back, about supporting those in need. But in Tiffany Henyard's world, it's just another avenue for exploitation. Let's talk about this so-called charity of hers, a cancer charity that conveniently forgot to file its financial records. I mean, how do you forget something like that? Tiffany Henyard's charity, the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation, has been at the center of intense scrutiny and controversy, particularly regarding its financial transparency. The charity was established in the fall of 2022 and was heavily promoted by Henyard, who also serves as the township supervisor. Almost immediately after its creation, the foundation received $110,000 from the township board, which Henyard oversees. This substantial amount of money raised eyebrows, especially considering that in its first few months of operation, the foundation reportedly only raised an additional $33,000 from other sources. This discrepancy between the large initial funding from the township and the minimal additional fundraising efforts has led to significant concerns about the foundation's operations. These aren't just accusations, besties. They're backed by evidence and the voices of outraged residents. While Henyard was living it up, the people of Dalton were struggling with a lack of basic services. And now, the residents are fighting back. They've managed to freeze Henyard's spending, putting a stop to her extravagant lifestyle, at least for now. The people of Dalton have finally had enough. They've taken a stand, legally freezing Henyard's ability to spend the town's money until a full audit is completed. Illinois Comptroller Susana Mendoza recently took a bold step by withholding tens of thousands of dollars from the village of Dalton. She stated, "Until I see those reports properly filed the way the law says they have to be, and until we see them show accountability for how they are spending taxpayer money, they will not see another penny of those offsets." Mendoza made it clear that the village's lack of transparency in its financial dealings was unacceptable. Mendoza specifically froze $135,000 that was supposed to be sent to Dalton, following a preliminary report by former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot. This report revealed questionable expenses under Mayor Tiffany Henyard's leadership, which turned a multi-million-dollar surplus into millions of dollars in debt. Mendoza emphasized, "Our action yesterday is to protect the people of Dalton, who she is disrespecting with her behavior every day." She also warned that her office is ready to conduct a forensic audit and levy fines if Dalton fails to file the overdue audits. Village trustees are now pressing the finance department to comply with the comptroller's demands. In response, an attorney representing Henyard released a statement saying she has never refused to comply with the controller. She is simply trying to compel the accountant to comply. But Henyard isn't going down without a fight. She's attempting to spin the narrative, claiming that the freeze is hurting the town and its residents. A special meeting of the Thornton Township trustees Wednesday night was called off, but that didn't stop Henyard from addressing the public. She slammed recent actions by trustees to limit spending and enact a new credit card policy. In the absence of the township's 5 sitting trustees, Henyard's attempt at a special meeting was more like a soliloquy. She said, "I am about to address some things as the supervisor. There will be no comments, it will just be me addressing you guys to tell you what's going on in through the township." Henyard claims she called the special meeting in response to a series of ordinances the village's board passed last week, including one to manage event spending. When that ordinance passed, Henyard claims township services abruptly ground to a halt.
Was not able to get certain services, whether it was gift cards for a big bingo. Monday, the staff was not able to even buy ice cream.
You thought it was just a way to stop Tiffany Henyard, but it was a way to basically stop the services here in Thornton Township, she added. But the truth is, the residents know better. They understand that this freeze is necessary to stop Henyard's reckless spending and to protect the future of their town. The situation has grown particularly dire for the village's firefighters, who have found themselves at the center of a storm of alleged financial mismanagement. Imagine being one of Dalton's firefighters, people who risk their lives every day, only to find out that the very village they serve is failing them in the most basic ways. Dalton Local 3766 President Adam Forage is standing up for his fellow firefighters. "Dalton is going to be on the up and up," he says, clinging to hope. "We just need the right people to do the right things for the right reasons." But hope is hard to maintain when you're facing a dire situation. The village's finances are in shambles, and it's the firefighters who are paying the price. Unpaid insurance premiums, missing retirement funds, and a complete lack of transparency have left these brave men and women in a precarious position. There are still members having claims denied. "I have 3 members who have pregnant wives, and their claims are being denied," Forage explains. "That's right, besties. Firefighters are unable to get basic health care for their pregnant wives because the village has neglected to pay the insurance premiums. It's a situation that defies belief. The problems don't stop there. Dalton firefighters haven't received a cost of living raise since 2019, 4 years of stagnant pay in an economy where everything else is getting more expensive. And to add insult to injury, thousands of dollars in retirement payments have simply vanished." We are still missing to date 9 deposits short. And then there's no rhyme or reason why. There's no accountability, Forage states. While Dalton firefighters are left to fend for themselves, Mayor Tiffany Henyard seems to be living a very different life. Reports have emerged showing that despite the financial crisis gripping the village, Henyard has been spending village funds on a lavish lifestyle that would make anyone's jaw drop. We're talking about stays at 5-star hotels, extravagant trips, and even a $500,000 renovation to her personal residence. Despite the growing list of allegations, Henyard maintained a tight grip on her supporters, including trustee Carmen Carlisle. But as legal troubles mount and public scrutiny intensifies, Carlisle's sudden decision to turn on Henyard raises questions. For context, Tiffany Henyard has enjoyed near-unanimous support on the Thornton Township Board, but that's now changing. Following a series of trustees' reports on her spending, Carlisle wrote in an emailed statement to WGN, "Today I am breaking my silence and speaking out against Thornton Township Supervisor and Mayor of Dalton, Tiffany Henyard, who I believe has engaged in unethical and predatory behavior throughout her tenure." Carlisle acknowledged at a recent board meeting that she rarely raised questions about lavish trips and other spending charged to township taxpayers. "I trusted the administration," Carlisle said on August 15 while looking at Supervisor Henyard. Henyard ridiculed Carlisle's newfound challenge at an August meeting, saying, "I think I'm going to get you a new nickname, Lion Carlisle. I'm tired of everyone in here. There always has to be a show." What's more, Carlisle issued an apology for losing her temper against a resident. This is what she had to say.
You know, it was a lot of negative energy going on in the room, and I attempted to bring a positive perspective to the discussion, and my approach was not received well, and instead of maintaining my composure and positivity, I reacted inappropriately.
She then went on to add, "I ended up calling someone old and ignorant, and I also called someone a clown, which was offensive and unprofessional. I deeply regret my actions, and for a long time, I was stubborn and failed to acknowledge that I owe an apology." This apology has brought about a lot of questions. Why did she stay silent for so long, and why is she speaking out now? For years, Carlisle supported Henyard's every move, even when residents and other trustees raised concerns about corruption. But now she's singing a different tune, claiming to be a whistleblower who has finally seen the light. But is this a genuine change of heart, or just a last-ditch effort to distance herself from a sinking ship? Many residents are skeptical. One person commented, "She is only concerned that she will be voted out for being part of Team Tiff. I don't believe anything she said." Another added, "The point is she should have done this long ago." She continued to go along with Tiffany's BS. "I think the only reason she made this statement is because the FBI got to her and she was trying to save her ass. Don't feel any remorse for her or anyone else in the administration. They all deserve to be in prison." These sentiments are widespread among Dalton residents who have long felt betrayed by their elected officials. Carlisle's apology has done little to quell the anger, and for many, it's too little, too late. With the financial freeze in place and the residents united against her, Henyard's days of unchecked spending might be coming to an end. But the fight is far from over. There are still ongoing investigations into her spending, and it's likely that more dirt will be uncovered. As long as Henyard remains in office, there's a risk she'll find a way to continue her corrupt practices. That's why the residents of Dalton must stay vigilant. They need to keep the pressure on Henyard and ensure that she's held accountable for her actions. The future of Dalton depends on it. This financial freeze is just the beginning. It's up to the people to see it through and demand the leadership they deserve. So what's next for Dalton? The financial freeze is a victory for the residents, but it's only the first step. The town needs real leadership, transparency, and accountability, something that has been sorely lacking under Henyard's rule. That's all for now, besties. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more piping hot tea. This is Hot Gossip signing off. Goodbye.